a lot of wonderful activities, and it's one time that you can really, really see God's hand moving in special ways on folk. Seems like more than any other time, people think about peace and think about reconciliation and think about peacemaking. That lonely word, multiculturalism, kind of drifts out of the closet. You know, people stalk from the back of their minds to the front of their minds, because King, if he was nothing else, he was someone who recognized the love community as being all human beings. Amen. I thank God that I lived to hear him and see him and see the work that he was doing. When I was on the Betsy Ross Elementary, he was marching in Marquette Park.
All right. Yes, sir.
On the Betsy Ross Elementary on 61st and Indiana, 61st and Greg, something like that. And he was in Marquette Park.
Yes, sir.
He was talking about how we need to come together and learn how to be more human for each other's sake. Amen. And so I always, during this particular time, I think about, you know, the kind of things that he was concerned about, like global peace and the character of humanity. He talked a lot about the character of humanity, and we've been talking about that as well here at church. And I kind of think in my heart of hearts that it's difficult for you to understand how to be in the world if you have not worked on your character as an individual. And you can't assume that Dr. Phil, you know, or some other, or Judge Judy or somebody is going to help you evolve your character, because we are divine instruments made in the image and likeness of God. And so because we are not like the other living things that are on this earth,
all right,
we have to connect ourselves to that which is divinely apportioned for us so that we might grow in the completeness of our humanity.
Amen.
In a nutshell is, if you don't build your character, then you probably won't have a lot of character. And if you don't use God's word as a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path to build that character, then you know there's other kind of characters out there. Wily cows. Different kinds of character out here. You can't build your character on Facebook.
Amen. That's right.
Right? You can't evolve trust on Facebook.
my love.
People just have to see you at face value. My space really is not your space. It's other people's space. And what they see is what you get. Right? So that character has to come to those moments in technology. In other words, you have to bring character to those apparatuses. Don't get it twisted. It is not reality. It's technology. Okay? And so you have to bring character to technology, or you become a technological barbarian. Many a fool has an iPod and an iPad. Amen? Not against iPods and iPads. I think they're great things. But in the hands of a fool, it doesn't matter.
All right.
Amen? And the iPad and the iPod can't help you not be a fool.
All right.
Right? They haven't developed that technology yet, that they can create an apparatus to take your foolishness from you. When they do, I'm sure that there'll be a long line. Amen? Y'all follow what I'm discussing here? Amen. Just stay with me for a while. I won't keep you long. But see, we have to build our character. See, and I'm always impressed by people who run up on you and say, well, you know, they got all that. And I'm just like, well, how you been working on it? And they say, well, you know, I hang out with my friends and I do this and I do that. I got new shoes. You know, they have things, but they haven't spent time working on their character.
Amen.
And my question is, John does it really well. He says that how are you going to love your neighbor that you see if you can't love God when you don't see?
All right.
You don't have enough love to love him who made all things. How do you gonna have love for your brother? So it kind of starts with your understanding of the divine. So you can't play that. You can't. Yeah, I understand. I've been there, done that. Got the T-shirt.
Amen.
Been at the point in my life where nobody could tell me nothing, and I thought I knew everything.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
And after a multitude of stumbling,
That's right.
I come to realize that even at the end of my life,
That's right.
the last part of my life, I know very little,
That's right.
Say it, preacher.
especially about God's love for me.
That's right.
All right.
Amen. We can very easily in this society get arrogant about what we think we know.
Amen.
And like the old man said to his son, there's a reason why God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth instead of 2 mouths and 1 ear.
All right.
You should listen more than you talk.
Amen.
Amen. Now, that doesn't mean nothing for you folks that's quiet, but those of us who are talkers, we got a problem. What? You mean I can't say nothing? But that's a good lesson. It's a good lesson. Okay. I want you to, we talked about character. Last time I saw you in this pulpit, we talked a little about Jonathan. Remember I talked to you about Jonathan and his character? Armor bearer character?
Yes.
Armor bearer character, it has a unique feature because armor bearer character means, those of y'all who weren't here, I'll do a recap for you. Jonathan's had an armor bearer, and the armor bearer essentially said, Jonathan, where you going, I'm going, and I'll carry your armor. I'll just follow you into where you're going. And it takes a certain amount of courage and faith and character to follow someone into a situation where it might be dangerous to your life, and the only thing that you're standing on is God's faith. Amen. So Jonathan had this enormous faith, and the armor bearer said, okay, since you're going, I'm behind you. And wherever you go, I go. We see Ruth saying that, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Remember
yeah.
Ruth?
Oh, yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, Ruth had that kind of character. Remember Esther?
Yes, sir.
Esther said that. Esther said, if I perish, but I'm going to stand up for my people.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes, sir.
But you got to have faith in God
Amen.
to evolve that kind of character. So we're going to look a little deeper into it at this time. I want you to turn, we're going to be working out of the book of Matthew, and we're going to be working out of the book of Luke, the Gospel of Luke. We're going to look at these two books, and we're going to look at what Jesus, because see, the imagery that we need to have, and see, this is why Jesus is the man for me. I'm telling you. Because Jesus, say amen.
Amen.
When you talk about the character development of Christians in community, I don't want to say Christian community. Because see, if you don't develop the character of Christians in community, you can give up on community. If the Christians don't have no character, there's not going to be no community.
Amen.
Amen? You understand what I'm saying? So you can't talk about Christian community. You have to say developing the character of Christians in community. Amen? That's the reason. You know why? Because it takes the character of Christ to create community. You cannot create community by yourself. Because some of y'all don't like each other. Amen? Say amen. You know, folks say, she's just a cat, and I'm just a dog. I just can't get along. Right? When I see them, my hair stands up, and I get this, some folks just can't get along. For us to overcome the humanity of our brokenness that does not allow us to interact with each other, Christ is given to us as a gift so that we can evolve the character to move beyond our differences. See, we heard our president talk about moving beyond our differences so that we can have a more civil discourse in how we talk to each other. So we don't have to shoot at each other. But you know what? If you don't evolve some Christian character, nothing political and nothing social and nothing
All right,
cultural
all right,
you
all
will
right,
be able to
all
do
right.
to stop people from hating on each other. Amen.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Because what I know about folks hating on each other, sometimes they don't even have to know you and they hate on you.
They hate them.
They just look at you and say,
That's right.
How many of y'all seen somebody, they just got him. You don't know me. You don't know nothing about, where that come from? It's not in your character. It's in your character to be broken and to be divisive. That's why Christ comes into the world. Y'all follow me? Matthew. Now, very quickly. The character development of Christians in community can be summed up in 4 illustrations given to us by Jesus. Christ is meaningful because he gives us insight into human nature. We must use Christ to evolve a meaningful and positive character regarding the Christian faith. Christ has hit this over and over again. That's the reason why you need to read the gospel. You know how, you remember when Christ said, you know, your eyes say, you know, your mouth is saying that you love me, but your heart is far from me. See, Christ can see inside folks. Amen? Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know how smiling faces something? Smiling faces. Y'all remember that song?
Oh, yeah.
Now people smiling at you. You ever see people when they smile false? Hi! Was that a real smile? You see what I'm saying? People, that's our nature. We kind of broke like that. You know, we like who we like and we don't like who we don't like. You know, we have kind of attitude about that. And God said, no, I ain't letting you out like that. You know, you don't have to love everybody. Amen? And the good thing about a Dr. King, a Gandhi, Mother Teresa, and those individuals is that they had the ability to overcome differences and love people beyond their own culture, their own station. So I love Mother Teresa like I love Dr. King just as much. You know why? Because Mother Teresa, Catholic, in a very strict order, breaks out her order, goes to India, goes to the Hindu untouchable community, and starts loving on the Hindu untouchable.
All right.
People of different faith. And then her order, Catholic order, said, what you doing over there messing with them people who don't even believe in us? And she said, she just fired back. Wouldn't Jesus do the same?
Right.
Now watch how he deals with this and I want to look at 2 illustrations here. But I want to give you a couple of scriptures to begin with to kind of give you a background. Chapter 16 in Proverbs, for example, starting at 1, 2, and 3. Stay at Matthew if you're with me. But I'm going to go to Matthew, I'm going to the Proverbs just to set up what we deal with in Matthew and Luke. Chapter 16, Proverbs 1 and 2 begins, the plans of the heart belong to man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. Y'all follow that? Yes. The plans of the heart belong to man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All the ways of a person are clean in their own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirit. Y'all hear that? And then 3, we remember this one. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. So what we're talking about here is the construction of a character that is Christian. Even in Proverbs, what we see is the author is beginning to work this out. And we need to take a look at those who exalt themselves over God's will. Amen? Because we want to look at basically four ways in which we have to learn how to develop our character to be good Christians. The first one I want you to look at is pride. I want you to take a look at pride. How many of y'all have seen or been experienced, and this is what I want you to understand, we all have been prideful.
All right.
Huh? Proud. Puffed up.
Yes.
I'm better than you. I want you to take a look at a word with me in Luke first. And then we'll go to Matthew. I want you to look at chapter 14, 8 to 14. And then we're going to go to chapter 18 from 10 to 14. I'm going to go to chapter 14 first, and I'm going to read that to you in Luke. And this is going to be topical, so I'm going to go through the Bible with you. Amen. So you won't have to read the Bible and then try to hold on to the memory of it. I'm going to stay there right with you. This is what you call a topical study. Luke 14, 8 to 11. Jesus gives us a parable to give us insight about self-exaltation. We do this all the time. We put ourselves over people all the time. I'm better than somebody else. Amen? Okay, so you with me? Luke 14?
Yes.
8 to 11. My Bible reads this way. When thou art bidden of any man to a marriage, wedding feast. Y'all with me? Amen, if you with me. Sit not down in the highest room. That's the chief seat.
All right.
Lest a more honorable man than thou be bidden of him. And he that bade thee and him come and say to thee, give this man place, and thou begin with shame to take the lowest room place. Amen. But when thou art bidden, go and sit down in the lowest room, that when he that bade thee cometh, he may say unto thee, friend, go up higher, then shalt thou have worship in the presence of them that sit at meat with thee. Now here's the key verse. For whosoever exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. Amen. Now let me break that down for you real quick, and then we're going to go to the next one. A lot of people